The champagne glasses shattered against the marble floor of the penthouse suite, and Marcus Washington stood frozen in the doorway, his 5-year-old daughter Lily's hand clutched tightly in his. He'd come to surprise his fiancée, Brittany Chen, at what he thought was a business dinner. Instead, he found her draped across the lap of Richard Caldwell, a venture capitalist whose face was plastered across every tech magazine in Silicon Valley. Marcus. Brittany leapt up, her red cocktail dress catching the light. But she didn't look guilty. She looked annoyed. "What are you doing here? And why did you bring Lily?" "Daddy, I don't like it here," Lily whispered, pressing herself against his leg. "It's too loud." Richard Caldwell didn't even stand. He simply smiled, swirling his scotch. "Ah, the elementary school teacher. Brittany's told me about you." Marcus's jaw tightened. "We need to talk, Brittany." "Alone." She sighed dramatically, grabbed her clutch, and followed him into the hallway. The moment the door closed, her mask dropped entirely. "Let me save you the speech," she said coldly. "Richard's investing $10 million in my startup. He wants a partner who can move in his circles. Someone sophisticated, someone without." She glanced down at Lily with thinly veiled disgust. "Baggage." Marcus felt like he'd been punched. "Baggage? That's my daughter you're talking about." "Exactly. Your daughter. Not mine. I never signed up to play stepmother to someone else's kid." Brittany pulled the engagement ring off her finger and pressed it into his palm. "I gave you 2 years, Marcus. 2 years of pretending I was okay with your boring teacher salary, your constant parent-teacher conferences, your entire life revolving around a child. I deserve more. You said you loved me." His voice cracked despite his effort to stay strong. "You said you loved Lily too. I loved the idea of you. The struggling single dad, so devoted, so noble. It was charming for a while. But Richard can give me the life I actually want." She checked her phone. "The ring's worth maybe 2 months of your salary. Keep it, sell it, I don't care. We're done." She walked back into the penthouse without another word. The door clicked shut with a finality that echoed through Marcus's chest. Lily tugged his hand. "Daddy, are you sad?" Marcus knelt down, pulling his daughter into a fierce hug. "No, baby, I'm not sad, because I have you, and you're worth more than anything in the world." But as he carried Lily to his aging Honda Civic, Marcus felt the weight of failure crushing down on him. He was 32 years old, a single father working 2 jobs, teaching 5th grade during the day and tutoring on weekends, just to make ends meet. Lily's mother had died in childbirth, and he'd raised his daughter alone, pouring every ounce of love and energy into giving her a good life. He'd genuinely believed Brittany understood that. He'd genuinely believed she was different. He was wrong. 3 weeks later, Marcus sat in the back corner of Rosie's Diner, the kind of place with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tasted like it had been sitting since yesterday. He came here every Saturday morning while Lily was at her art class, usually to grade papers and decompress. Today, he was just staring at his lukewarm coffee, trying to figure out how to explain to Lily why Miss Brittany wouldn't be coming to family dinners anymore. "You look like a man who's lost his best friend," a warm voice said. Marcus glanced up. A woman stood beside his booth, holding a coffee pot. She was in her mid-40s, with natural hair pulled back in an elegant twist, warm brown skin, and kind eyes that held both intelligence and something harder to name. Experience, maybe, or understanding. She wore the diner's standard uniform, but somehow she made it look dignified. "Just my fiancé," Marcus said, then immediately regretted it. "Sorry, I shouldn't." "Unload on the waitress." She smiled and slid into the booth across from him without asking. "Honey, that's literally half my job description. The other half is coffee refills and knowing exactly when someone needs pie." She pushed a slice of apple pie across the table. "This one's on me. I can't. You can, and you will. Doctor's orders." "Well, former doctor's orders." She extended her hand. "Diana Chen. And before you ask, yes, I know I'm too old to be waitressing." "It's a long story." Marcus shook her hand, struck by the firmness of her grip and the way her eyes seemed to really see him. "Marcus Washington. And you don't look too old for anything." "Flatterer. I like you already." Diana poured him fresh coffee. "So, the fiancé. Let me guess." She decided the struggling teacher with a kid wasn't quite the fairy tale she'd signed up for. Marcus's eyes widened. How did you? Because I've lived long enough to recognize that particular brand of heartbreak. Plus, you've got paint under your fingernails, the washable kind teachers use. And that cartoon character bandage on your thumb tells me you've got a young one at home. She sipped her own coffee. Am I close? Disturbingly accurate. Marcus found himself smiling for the first time in weeks. She left me for a venture capitalist. Said my daughter was baggage, and she deserved better. Diana's expression hardened. Then she's an idiot who didn't deserve either of you. What's your daughter's name? Lily. She's 5, and she's my whole world. As she should be. Diana's voice softened. My niece had a daughter around that age. Had all the money in the world but never figured out that kids need love more than stock portfolios. She paused, something flickering across her face. Wait, your ex-fiancée wasn't named Brittany, was she? Brittany Chen. Marcus nearly choked on his coffee. You know her. Diana laughed, but there wasn't much humor in it. She's my niece. Well, technically my ex-husband's niece, but I helped raise her after her parents died. Brilliant mind, terrible heart. I heard she got engaged to a teacher but I never imagined. She shook her head. Small world. Cruel world. Sometimes. You raised Brittany. Tried to. Her uncle and I took her in when she was 16. I was a trauma surgeon then. My husband was a real estate developer. We gave her everything. Love, education, opportunities. But she only ever cared about the money and status. When my marriage fell apart 5 years ago, she sided with my ex without a second thought. Haven't spoken to her since. Marcus studied Diana, seeing past the diner uniform to the woman underneath. There was a story there, layers of pain and resilience. What happened, if you don't mind me asking? Diana was quiet for a moment. The short version, my husband made some very bad business decisions. Lost everything. I was working 80-hour weeks at the hospital trying to keep us afloat. He couldn't handle the pressure, the shame. He left me with $500,000 in debt and no prenup to protect me. She smiled sadly. I sold everything, filed for bankruptcy, and started over. The medical board investigation cleared me, but by then my reputation was tangled up in his mess. So I'm here, slinging coffee and rebuilding my life one shift at a time. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm happier now than I was in that big house with a man who measured his worth in dollar signs. She met his eyes. Real wealth isn't in your bank account, Marcus. It's in knowing who you are when everything else is stripped away. They talked for 2 more hours. Diana's shift ended, but she stayed, and they moved from coffee to lunch to swapping stories. Marcus told her about Lily's obsession with dinosaurs, about the parent who'd yelled at him last week because their child got a B+, about his dreams of maybe one day writing a children's book. Diana told him about her years in surgery, about the patients she'd saved and the ones she couldn't, about how she was taking online business courses and planning to open a community health clinic for underprivileged families. That's incredible, Marcus said. But how do you afford? I'm very good at living on very little, Diana said simply. And I have a small savings I've been rebuilding. It'll happen. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year. But it'll happen. When Marcus finally checked his phone, he realized Lily's class had ended 20 minutes ago. He jumped up, panicked. I'm so sorry, I have to go get your daughter. I understand. Diana stood too. But Marcus, would you want to have coffee again next Saturday? As friends. Marcus hesitated. After Brittany, the thought of opening up to anyone felt terrifying. But Diana's eyes held no judgment, no expectations. Just genuine warmth. I'd like that, he said. And Diana, thank you for listening. Anytime, teacher. That's what friends are for. The friendship bloomed slowly over the next 3 months. Coffee every Saturday became lunch, then became Diana joining Marcus and Lily for trips to the museum, the park, the library. Lily adored Diana immediately, asking her endless questions about bones and blood and the inside parts, with the morbid curiosity only 5-year-olds possess. Diana answered every question patiently, sketching diagrams on napkins and explaining complex concepts in simple terms. You're so good with her, Marcus said one afternoon, watching Diana teach Lily how to take a pulse using a stuffed dinosaur as a patient. Kids are easy, Diana replied. They just want to be heard and taken seriously. Adults are the complicated ones. Marcus started noticing things. The way Diana's face lit up when she talked about medicine. The way she volunteered at a free clinic on her days off, despite being exhausted from double shifts at the diner. The way she never complained, never played victim, never let her circumstances define her dignity. He also noticed the way his heart beat faster when she laughed. The way he found himself thinking about her at odd moments during the school day. The way Lily had started calling her Aunt Diana, and asking when they'd see her next. He was falling in love, and it terrified him. One evening, after Lily was asleep, Marcus called his mother. "So let me get this straight," his mother said. "You're in love with your ex-fiancée's aunt." "I think so. But Mom, what if I'm wrong again? What if I'm just rebounding? What if she doesn't feel the same way? Baby, does she make you happy?" "Yes." "Does she treat Lily with love and respect?" "Absolutely." "Does she make you want to be a better man?" Marcus thought about Diana's quiet strength, her determination to rebuild her life, her refusal to become bitter despite everything she'd lost. "Yes," he said quietly. "She does." "Then stop overthinking it and tell the woman how you feel." But Marcus chickened out. Week after week, he told himself he'd confess his feelings, and week after week he found excuses. Until Diana made the decision for him. It was a rainy Saturday in November. They were supposed to meet at the diner, but Diana texted him an address instead, a small office building on the outskirts of town. Marcus arrived with Lily, confused, to find Diana waiting outside wearing actual professional clothes for the first time since they'd met. A sleek navy pantsuit that reminded him she'd once been a surgeon, once commanded operating rooms and saved lives. "What's going on?" Marcus asked. Diana smiled nervously. "I need to tell you something." "Several somethings, actually. Can we go inside?" The office was sparse but clean. A desk, some chairs, medical posters on the walls. Diana took a deep breath. "This is my clinic." "Well, it will be. I signed the lease yesterday." "Diana, that's amazing. But how?" "That's the first something I need to tell you." She pulled out a folder. "Remember how I said I had a small savings I was rebuilding? I wasn't entirely truthful. When my ex-husband destroyed our finances, I'd already moved most of my personal assets, inheritance from my parents, my own earnings, into a separate trust. He didn't know about it. Neither did my lawyer. I let everyone think I was broke because I needed to know who I was without the money. Who would stick around? What really mattered?" Marcus felt dizzy. "How much money are we talking about?" $43 million, Diana said quietly. "Give or take a few million depending on the stock market." The room spun. Lily tugged his hand. "Daddy, are you okay?" "I'm a billionaire," Diana continued. "Not quite, but close enough that the distinction doesn't matter. Or I will be once my investments fully mature next year. I've been living off my waitressing income this whole time because I needed to prove to myself that I could. That I wasn't just some rich woman playing at being normal. But Marcus, I haven't been honest with you, and you deserve the truth before." She faltered. "Before this goes any further." "Before what goes any further?" Marcus's voice came out strangled. Diana crossed to him, took his free hand. "Before I tell you that I'm in love with you. That I have been for months. That every Saturday I wake up excited because I get to see you. That Lily feels like the daughter I never had. That when I imagine my future, you're both in it." Tears streamed down her face. "But I had to tell you about the money first because I won't be the wealthy woman who trapped a good man. You need to choose this, choose me, knowing everything." Marcus stared at her. This woman who'd served him coffee and listened to his heartbreak. Who'd taught his daughter about science and never once made him feel small for his teacher's salary. Who'd rebuilt her entire life from scratch because her principles mattered more than comfort. "You're a billionaire," he said slowly. "Technically not until next year. And you've been working at a diner." "Yes." "And volunteering at a free clinic." "Yes." "And you're in love with me. An elementary school teacher with a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old Honda." Diana laughed through her tears. "Yes." Hopelessly. "Is that okay?" Marcus thought about Brittany, who'd valued money over love. Who'd called his daughter baggage. Who'd thrown away something real for something shiny. Then he looked at Diana. Strong, principled, kind Diana, who'd had millions all along and never once made him feel inferior. Who'd chosen to see who he really was before revealing who she really was? Daddy. Lily tugged harder. Why is Aunt Diana crying? Did we make her sad? Marcus knelt down. No, baby. Aunt Diana just told us something very important. Is it okay if Daddy talks to her for a minute? Can I color in the other room? Sure, sweetheart. Once Lily was settled with crayons and paper in the adjoining office, Marcus turned back to Diana. I'm in love with you too, he said. I have been since probably the second Saturday, when you spent 20 minutes explaining to Lily why dinosaurs couldn't actually come back like in the movies. When you treated her like her questions mattered. Diana sobbed. Really, really. And I don't care about the money, Diana. I care that you're the kindest person I've ever met. That you make me laugh. That you see me, not what I earn or what I can provide, but who I am. That's what I fell in love with. Even though I lied. You didn't lie. You just didn't tell me something that doesn't change anything important. He pulled her close. Although I have to admit, this does solve my problem of not being able to afford a decent engagement ring. Diana pulled back, eyes wide. Marcus Washington, are you proposing to me in an empty medical office? No, he grinned. I'm saying that eventually, when we're both ready, when Lily's ready, I'm going to propose to you properly. With a ring I bought with my teacher salary. Because I want you to know that I chose you for you, not for what you have. Diana kissed him then, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they finally broke apart, she was smiling. You know my niece is going to lose her mind when she finds out. Marcus laughed. You mean my ex-fiancée who left me for money? Yeah, I imagine she will. Is it wrong that I'm looking forward to it? Probably. But I am too. They didn't tell Brittany right away. They took their time, building their relationship properly. Marcus introduced Diana to his mother, his friends, his colleagues. Diana officially became Lily's Aunt Diana, and later, after a year of family therapy to make sure everyone was ready, much more. The proposal happened on a Saturday morning at Rosie's Diner, at the same booth where they'd first met. Marcus got down on one knee with a simple gold band he'd saved 6 months to buy, and Diana said yes before he even finished asking. Lily, who'd been in on the plan, cheered so loud the entire diner applauded. The wedding was small. Marcus's family, Diana's few remaining friends from her medical days, and Lily as the flower girl. They didn't invite Brittany, but word got back to her anyway. The first text came 3 days after the wedding announcement appeared in the local paper. You married my aunt, are you kidding me right now? Marcus deleted it without responding. The second text came an hour later. Do you have any idea how much money she has? You hit the jackpot, didn't you? This was your plan all along. Diana, reading over his shoulder, took the phone and typed back. Dear Brittany, Marcus didn't marry me for money. He married me because I love him and his daughter unconditionally. Because I see his worth beyond a bank account. Because we built something real based on respect and partnership. These are concepts you never understood and probably never will. I hope Richard's $10 million keeps you warm at night. Regards, your aunt and Marcus's wife. She hit send, then blocked the number. Too harsh, she asked. Marcus kissed her forehead. Perfect. 5 years later, Marcus stood in the lobby of the Chen Community Health Center, watching Diana cut the ribbon on her dream.